Well, guys, there is some big news that has hit the internet in the last few days. I've been recommended a lot to talk about this, but I haven't yet, though I feel now is the time. Christmas Eve, late Christmas present, I suppose. You see, Sneako is supposedly quitting what he calls the grift. From what people are telling me, and I have not watched this yet, Sneako admits that right-wing content, the type that he's been making, has been a grift, trying to go for easy money this whole time, and that he's finally quitting it. Whether or not this is just clickbait, he's lying, he's just trying to regain some level of good press from people, hard to say. I haven't watched this yet, I've not spoiled myself, but I've got it queued up and ready for us to watch, so Merry Christmas to everyone, and I hope you're all excited for this. So here's Sneako's video. He posted this on Twitter. He captioned it, "I miss the old Sneako," and it has 10K likes. Not a lot, actually. So let's see what the deal is. Well, he's a pedo, so yeah, his favorite movie is Cuties. He has said that. That is true. Let's see what his deal is. What's he talking about?
I miss the old Kanye, straight from the gold Kanye.
Hey, what's up, bro? Nice to meet you.
I hate the new Kanye, the bad mood Kanye.
Fantasy tuber.
Wait, is that that's gonna get me copyrighted? You can't be hitting me with that. Is it just him traveling for like most of the video? Okay, here we go. Now it seems to be him talking. Does he have a... Oh my god. Alright. He has a Twitter X on the wall in the background of his apartment. He has a zebra skin rug. He has his modem, router, and PlayStation 5 on the floor. From what I can tell, his carpeted floor. He has a hookah. And then none of this shit is on anything. It's just on the floor. Dude, this guy's like rich, right? Can't he just afford a entertainment center? Like, what the fuck, bro?
Nobby, this liberal, reacted to it, put it out there, and it did well. Filming, of writing, of recording, of editing, re-editing.
Oh, wait, was he talking?
Accept me, but all your students do. What's up with that? Today's such a reminder that every time you step out of Manhattan, you never know what to expect. I was taking some cool shots of the snow, and I end up at the NYU mosque upstairs. People's looking at me. What's up, bro? When you're on go mode and in a flow state, you can't turn it off, but something has definitely rewired. And that was a good reset. That weekly prayer is what I definitely needed to get the wires in the right place again.
Oh yeah, for those who don't know, Sneako for like the last 2 years has been on his like Islam grift. Like a lot of his like incel women are lesser rhetoric is like radical Islam shit now. He's gone from just being like your average like 4chan internet incel to like radical Islam incel. He's trying to use it to add some like lordly authority to his misogyny. It's very cringe. He acts very like righteous about it.
All right, let me get out of here.
Okay, it doesn't seem like he actually starts talking about anything
going to
of interest until
Of
here.
filming, of writing, of recording, of editing, re-editing. I put it out there and it did well, but then the streamer, Hasanabi, this liberal, reacted to it and probably got more money and more eyes on it, hating on it, than I got producing it. So
At least someone on the left did, but man, fuck Hassan. Yeah, Hassan does make like ridiculous amounts of money. Like you guys don't even know. Y'all don't even know.
Social media does not reward creativity. It rewards rage bait and terrible political opinions.
Wait, is he... He's not wrong, but is he trying to claim this about the left? Is he going to try to claim that Hassan, being like the only popular left-wing figure in broader like cultural space, while the rest of like the online space in regards to politics is nothing but conservatives and people who think just like Sneako, is he going to try to argue that because Hassan exists, that is why bad politics and clickbait and rage bait are incentivized? If he does, I am actually going to lose it laughing.
It's not fair, but that's the game. I already knew how to run the YouTube algorithm learning from Mr. Beast in 2018, 2019, but I didn't want to jump in a pool of Orbeez and put my hand in a car in a circle. That wasn't me. Streaming was a way I could express myself properly, and I was making more in a day than I was making on YouTube videos in a month. And at the time when I started streaming, the world needed the red pill. People call
It is all about money for these people, by the way. He's gonna bring up money and how much he's making a lot. A lot of these people will be very transparent at times about how this is just a money game for them.
Call it a grift, but they also don't talk about how normalized all of these ideas have become because of all the red pill manosphere streamers. When I first pressed go live on OBS, people still believed in feminism. When I started,
these people are of the opinion that when Trump won, feminism and progressivism has been defeated. They've been doing this like victory lap of feminism has failed. Feminism has been defeated since Trump's win. A lot of these people, I guess, are trying to take this he's trying to take this like honor credit of saying that he was an incel before it was cool. He's like the incel hipster. You gotta understand, I was very brave. It wasn't popular on the internet to be misogynistic back then. Trust me, guys. I basically started that whole thing. Okay, man. I believe you.
Talking about the vaccine or talking about how the media was fake, that was a controversial take. Now everybody knows it's true. Liberals in New York are ashamed to talk about the fact that they voted for Kamala Harris. They know that there's something disgusting about their ideology.
A lot of this is just Sneako. A lot of Sneako's Sneako is the right-wing Ricegum. Anyone who was around back then, Kamala, yeah, they pronounce her name wrong on purpose. It was part of the whole thing. They would pronounce it like Kamala, or they'd pronounce it Kamala. They refused to say her name correct. It's part of like the child second grade like insult shit they do to her. Anyway, a lot of this is like I'm calling it Sneako tier because he is Sneako. Anyone who remembers Ricegum, I feel like he's the most comparable figure to someone like Sneako. Ricegum was like the original scumbag, wealthy, clickbaiting, scamming, unstoppably popular piece of shit. He was one of YouTube's original heels, and his catchphrase was, "You're irrelevant." If you ever called him out for, say, scamming his audience of mostly children, that kind of thing, he would call you irrelevant, and then he would flex his bands and all of his wealthy, his mansion, his expensive watches and cars, that kind of stuff. And so people like Sneako are really descendants of Ricegum. They're disciples of him. A lot of this stuff is centered around the idea of being like a massive douchebag, flexing how much you're making and how much you're succeeding off of being a douchebag, and then profiting off of people's anger about it.
When I first started streaming, saying something like Free Palestine was a hot take, and now it's been so forced onto everyone. If you don't say it, you're a sellout. So when people say I changed or I did it...
I mean, I don't think that Sneako is the reason that people say Free Palestine. For those that don't know, Sneako is a very, very anti-Semitic guy. He is the anti-Semitic Palestine supporter that you always hear about. One of his best quotes, I guess you could say, is one of his best hits is him screaming, "Down with the Yehud." The Yehud being Arabic for Jew, for the Jews. And so, yeah, he's like, he wants Israel to fall because he wants the Jews exterminated, not because he believes in, like, liberation for Palestinians. He's Sneako, come on, we know.
Because it was popular at the time. I tell them there was nothing more important to talk about at a live stream at that time than the red pill. And in 4 to 5 years, people are going to give credit to people like us who got censored everywhere for telling the truth, especially when it was that necessary.
I remember back in 2016 when the anti-SJW said this, that in 5 to 6 years, they're going to be looked back on as heroes, new faces in the world, like a new enlightenment. That's what they called it. They were saying that they were the figures in a new period of enlightenment, that this was going to be considered the great American Enlightenment period that they were headlining. And of course, within 3 years, it all fell apart because all these people are like racists and Nazis, and generally well-adjusted adults grow out of this kind of stuff, and when they do, these figures fall apart, and someone newer and better at this stuff just replaces them a few years later. But yeah, like, Sneako probably genuinely believes, just like those people did, that they're gonna be, like, looked back on as heroes. Meanwhile, Sneako is, today, still looked at as the pedophile red pill loser who sits in the cuck chair.
Even if you said the word COVID, you got a little box highlight at the bottom from the CDC warning you about safety precautions and social distancing. It's
you still do.
Very important that we don't have short-term memory loss. But this goes for anyone. If your pursuit is solely financial, you will quickly lose who you are. At my core, I'm not even a streamer, and still, while banned, became one of the biggest in the world. It's important to be.
So I guess what he's trying to do is he's saying that he's quitting the grift as a way of saying that he is now the giga honest conservative. He is saying to like the conservative audiences, all these other conservatives, they're just grabbing onto my coattails. I'm the one who popularized this shit. I'm the OG. I started this. And so I want you guys to know that for me, it's not about the money. It's just about destroying feminism and spreading the red pill.
Be factual. In 2 years, I was a key player in waking up young men around the world and girls about the lies of feminism. I stepped into the podcast and political world and changed the narrative about what Americans think geopolitically. But now the talking points have become normalized, and I feel like
he's got such a massive ego. He thinks so much of himself. It's actually wild, dude.
Jukebox saying the same things that people want to hear over and over again. How many times can you say it before you just become little soundbite instead of a person? A lot of the reasons I stopped making videos was financial, but I still stepped into this world and said the right thing, and I'm proud of every word. Luckily, I'm not a materialistic guy. You don't see me with jewelries or too many cars. I just invested my money in.
Yes, you do. Yes, he's constantly flexing. He's, like I said, he's just like Ricegum. He flexes all the time. He's just lying right now.
Now I want to focus on what I'm supposed to do. And one thing about me, no content creator can deny, even if they hate me, is I'm always ahead of the wave. Project X is going to change the content game in 2025. It's going to bring a lot of people who are used to YouTube content onto X with free speech. It's going to show people that YouTube does not have a monopoly on MP4 files. As long as you're making something dope, people will come. Just look at.
Twitter has been seeing larger and larger exoduses every few months. Meanwhile, Twitter is losing ads constantly. The majority of its traffic are bots. I guess they can continue to pretend like they're winning and they're taking the victory lap as they fall apart. It kind of reminds me of a company that's like going bankrupt, but they're so desperate to try and like get back in the green that they pretend like they're in their like greatest era as everyone recognizes they're falling off. It's just like, I guess if they fake it, they'll make it or something. I don't know if that's their mindset.
At these shots, this is still one of the best movies of all time. And I saw today there was an extreme tragedy in Germany.
Okay.
At a Christmas event, some guy drove a car through a crowd of people, and I'm not sure how many casualties there are, but my prayers go out for them. Seeing that was an extreme wake-up call, because 6 months ago, that terrorist tweeted at me, replying to a picture I took in Mecca when I went for a religious pilgrimage, saying that it's a Luciferian religion to believe in God. It's a reminder of how crazy the internet can make people and the hatred that people have of God. I miss the old Sneako because I didn't have to worry.
He drank the Musk Kool-Aid. He's just doing like the weird like fake Muslim righteous misogyny bit. He's been doing that for like a year and a half. Apparently, like Andrew Tate passed the torch to him, quote unquote, because Andrew Tate's about to go to prison for the rest of his life for trafficking minors. Yeah. So Sneako's supposed to be the new Andrew Tate. I just don't think he has it in him. Sneako will never be as big as Andrew Tate. He will never reach the people Andrew Tate did. Andrew Tate was able to be Andrew Tate because he was Andrew Tate, if that makes sense. You can't not be a somewhat accomplished kickboxer who's also ripped and be the figure that Andrew Tate was. You have to have the physicality and the record to back it. Like, Andrew Tate was an effective heel because 99.9% of people, normal people who hate Andrew Tate, would get their asses beat by Andrew Tate if they talk shit to him in public, like in person, right? He's that awful human being who is immensely successful and could knock the shit out of you if you ever met face to face. He is so hateable, right? He's like the ultimate heel, right? I don't think if you're not like that, you can be as successful as Andrew Tate was.
About any of that. Now I'm going to keep security with me in New York everywhere I go. It helps solidify my purpose because the world desperately needs love speech right now, and that's what Project X is going to have every day. The red pill was truthful, but it's divisive. Right now, the world needs something like Project X that's going to unify and show people that we're not that different.
I miss.
Now, your fans are going to call that gay, bro. Is that the end of his thing? Is this him, like, shopping with random women for the rest of the video or something? Yeah, I guess so. So yeah, Sneako has claimed that the grift is ending, and he's not changing anything about what he does. What are the comments like? Great episode. Your videos stop me from scrolling, and I can engage in something meaningful. I still don't agree with everything you say, but that's what I liked about your content. You don't have to agree. Your content is meaningful. Been loving it. From MP39 Edits, putting your content in front of millions. Worked with Sidemen, McLaren F1, Beta Squad 5, Jesser, Laserbeam, Fnatic. I'm pretty sure this is just like a bot account that's just botting for engagement. Another reply is Aura, and it's a picture of Sneako on a boat with some lady. Your friend survives an assassination attempt, and you say nothing because he laughed at your one-day kick ban. Who's really the bad friend? Oh, the Nick Fuentes. It's a Groiper. The Nick Fuentes fans are mad. It would seem. Hey, Abby Gretel. Merry Christmas. It seems the Nick Fuentes fans are pissed because Sneako and Nick Fuentes broke it off. Sneako is hands down making the best content on X. I swear, any comment that says hands down is a bot. Have you noticed how many of these like right-wing glazing replies on Twitter use the term hands down? That's got to be like some bot programmed like thing, right? The hands down, I speak for everyone, like those phrases must be programmed in like a bunch of these bots, right? Yeah, you got it. You said it like as I did, Corsica. Yeah, the I speak for everyone and hands down, I feel is an immediate sign we're dealing with a bot account. I don't know. Anyway, Sneako is now pretending like he is the only non-grifter among conservative grifters to try and, like, I guess siphon support from other conservative figures. I wonder if we're starting to see, like, with people on the right trying to attack, like, the middle-of-the-road figures like Actman and stuff, I wonder if they're trying to cannibalize each other. Like, figures in this anti-woke space, they're probably recognizing that the anti-woke stuff isn't growing. It's not going to grow a lot in the coming years either. There's not going to be much grounds to do this whole victim narrative about how the woke is taking over. You can do the whole, like, we've beat feminism bit, but if we've beat feminism, then what's the impetus for all these young men to start fighting against feminism? There is none. In fact, as more and more of these young men get older and they inevitably end up in work environments and even friend groups with women, actual women, they're going to realize a lot of the rhetoric they've heard isn't true. Their weirdo behavior is going to be socially ostracizing, and they're not going to be able to live a normal life with that mindset. They're not going to be crypto millionaires able to grift off of the red pill. They're normal people who have to work a minimum wage job with female coworkers. And so they're going to grow out of that stuff. And this era of right-wing content is going to fizzle out with a whimper. Conservatives said the war on Christmas is over and they won because Trump won. Yeah, I hope they continue doing this whole victory lap over Trump winning, because now they can't play the victim whenever they want to complain about things now. Trump is in power. The Republicans control all of the government. Feminism has supposedly been defeated. Liberals are supposedly ashamed of ever having voted against Trump. Like, all right then, so what is the reason to be fighting against the left? When you claim victory and you take away the idea that there is a fight that needs to be fought, no one's going to be motivated to fight anymore. Yeah, there's a lot of enthusiasm among right-wing content viewers because they feel like they've won, but the thrill of winning is going to wear off. And the lack of a threat that they feel is real and tangible and they need to fight against is going to lead to disillusionment. They're going to fall off of this content. They're going to be less attached to it, less frequently watching it, and because of that, they're going to find themselves drifting out of those political views as they get older and more mature. Not all of them, but many of them will. They need something to play off of? Yep. And without this narrative that the left is in power and they're destroying the economy, I don't think they've got the juice to do what they've been doing the last few years. In fact, I think right now is the time where they might recognize the left online is going to be at an advantage. If we play our cards right, the left could come out of this next 4 years with a level of support and grip within the online space that is nothing like what we have now. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this segment, if you found it entertaining, educational, or enjoyable, then please leave a like and a comment. Thumbs up and comments are totally free and they help a lot. They're actually the best way to support my channel. It forces YouTube to put my videos in people's recommended, and it really helps a lot. Make sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon to turn on all notifications as well if you haven't also, so that YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload new videos. And of course, if you want to see more from me on other platforms, make sure to follow my social medias linked down below in the description. Now, if you want to support me directly and you feel like it and you can afford it, you want to help me keep the lights on, a roof above my head here at the Xander Hall studio, then please consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or perhaps even support me through my YouTube, Discord, YouTube, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or even buying merch through the Streamlabs link down below in the description. Regardless, though, no matter what, thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a good one.